Hi, I'm Tim. Please join me in this video as I do an unbox and flight review of the Volantex P-51D Mustang ready to fly RC model airplane. Let's get to it. This is a short overview of the airplane. It weighs about 2.2 ounces, so it's quite lightweight. No remote ID, obviously, with this weight. It's a full 4-channel control with ailerons, elevator, rudder, and throttle. And it does have a 6-axis gyro control system. So with that being said, let's take a look at the history of the real P-51D Mustang.
This is the P-51D with a distinctive bubble canopy. You can see the air intake underneath for the radiator. Actual color photo of the P-51 during World War II. And the key thing it did was could escort the bombers on long range. You can see the fuel tanks underneath this formation. They dropped the fuel tanks when they're empty, and this allowed the fighters to continue to escort the bombers. P-51 under construction. And also, you can buy them today. This is one that's being flown today. Just need a few extra dollars in your checking account, and you're good to go.
Please note that there are chapters in the timeline if you'd like to jump ahead. If you'd like to purchase this model, there is a link in the description.
This is the box. Everything is in there. You literally take it out, charge the battery, and you can go fly. Optional if you want to install the landing gear. It is really a complete kit. This is everything out of the box. You can see the airplane with the prop already installed. They give several extra propellers to include a 4-bladed propeller, the charger, the landing gear that just slots in, 4-channel transmitter, 2.4 gigahertz. You'll need to add 4 AA batteries to make it work, and a pretty good instruction manual.
This is the box that the P-51 comes in. I usually take a look at this box just to get an idea what's inside. There's not a ton of information on this particularly. They have different color schemes on it. But it does say durable material, just the foam. The important thing is the 6-axis gyro system. It's really helpful to have these gyros. We'll demonstrate this later on to keep the model flying better with these small models, and we'll demonstrate that. The plane comes out of the box ready to fly. The only thing I had to do was to add the landing gear, and it just clicks into slots down below, charge the battery, and go fly. Nothing else needed to be done. Even the propeller was installed on the model. One thing to keep in mind that when you take it out of the box, the battery is a 400 milliamp single cell LiPo. It's inside the fuselage here, so you won't find it anywhere with the other parts of the kit. It's inside here, so just keep that in the back of your mind. Again, 1 servo for the ailerons, servos inside for the elevator and rudder. The tail wheel is not steerable, but that's fine, and the landing gear slots right in. There is a discussion you could have whether or not to have the landing gear. It always looks a little bit odd to see these fighters flying around with the landing gear down. You do have the option of simply hand launching it and flying it without the landing gear. I'm going to keep the landing gear on because if nothing else, it'll help protect against the prop hitting the ground when I land if I didn't turn off the throttle. The prop just snaps on. It comes off pretty easily to protect the electronics. So I'll keep the landing gear on to protect the propeller, but it's not required for your flying. This is the instruction manual that comes with the model. It's not a bad instruction manual. It has some good information on how to charge the battery. I use the included charger right here. This is the battery, the 400 milliamp single cell battery. One thing I do that you might consider for your models are, if you get a lot of these types of models, you can get some very similar transmitters. The transmitter is already binded to the aircraft, so I want to keep the right transmitter for the model. What I do is here, I'll just put a little P-51 here with Scotch tape and write it on. I'll put it on the charger. I put it on the battery. I also put it on the back of the transmitter just so I can keep track of which one that I'm getting. So again, the manual is pretty good. We'll look at a few pictures in detail here. It talks about the charger, the control of surfaces throw, the directions, some things on turning it on, plugging in the model first, then the transmitter itself. You'll have to supply 4 AA batteries for the transmitter, but that's fine right there. There are some binding instructions. Mine came already binded. There's really not much that needed to be done for that. So let's take a look at a few of the pages of the instruction manual.
Overall, a quite good instruction manual. Good pictures, explanation here of the charger for your 400 milliamp battery. The control throws, there's not much control throws, but that's all that's needed for a smaller model. And a good discussion of the various buttons on the 4-channel transmitter.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this battery and plug it into the airplane there, then turn on the transmitter. Then we'll come back, we'll see how the controls operate, and I'll demonstrate the gyro stabilization system. So we're all plugged in. We'll demonstrate this in a second. I wanted to point out that there are both a 2-blade and a 4-blade propeller that comes with it. They have the Volantex is a fairly unique system. They just snap on in place to protect the prop. I'm going to use a 2-bladed one for this one, but you do have the option of a 4-bladed prop. Now, the battery is installed here. I'm going to leave this hanging out just so I know a battery is in the airplane. And if you listen carefully, there's chatter. That chatter is a gyro system activating the controls. So what we're going to do is, you'll see with the ailerons, if I bank it over here to the left, see how that aileron goes up? That is automatically stabilizing it to level flight. And that's how that works. So there is a safety with the motor to prevent the prop from accidentally going. I'll hold this here. You have to turn the throttle all the way to the full throttle, hear a beep, back to idle, then the system should work. Back to idle, and now you do have the throttle there. So again, with the controls, we can see the elevator up, down. It's not much throw, but that's all you need for a smaller one like this. The rudder, left, right, that's about right. There is what I consider a lot of aileron throw for something like this, but that's the way it's designed, and I think with the gyro system it'll work out okay. And notice as it banks, or if it goes down, the elevator goes up. If it goes up, the elevator goes down. That is just the gyro system working in the background. Now, what's important about this gyro system is it's tied into this switch over here for expert, mid, and beginner. So beginner is all the way here. Notice in the beginner, that means the gyros are connected to have smoother flight, but you're going to have less control input. If we go all the way to expert, that turns off the gyros. Notice when we turn the model, the gyros are not working. You'll have complete control of the model. No gyro input at all. There's a lot of control throw, so I intend to take my initial flights with the gyros on in the beginner just to feel out the airplane for its initial flights. So that completes the demonstration discussion of the airplane. It feels good. It's got a nice finish, 2.2 ounces. It's not too heavy. The center of gravity is not listed on the instructions, but that's about right, about 20-25% back from the wing leading edge. Usually these smaller models, they have to be designed to have the right center of gravity. You can't move anything around like the battery. And the other thing I did want to point out is you'll see these little U-joints right here in the controls for the ailerons, for the elevator. This is a way to adjust the central point of the aileron. You can just, with a pair of needle nose pliers, adjust this in or out to center this. It's centered up very nicely right now. I'm not going to do anything. You need a very tight control for that gyros to work. So I'm happy with the way that worked. So that is this for the P-51. Next time I'll see you is when we have a good day at the flying field. We'll take it for a test flight. We're out here at the field today. It's just a perfect day for a test flight. Just no wind. Sun's good behind our back. So we'll take the Volantex P-51 up for a test flight, see how it goes. I think everything worked fine. It's a nice light model, about 2.2 ounces. Everything checks out okay, so we'll hook up the battery, make sure the controls work, and then we'll take it from there. Before we power it up, let's take one final look at the model. It's an attractive model. Again, 2.2 ounces. It's quite lightweight. Feel like it has plenty of power for it to fly. The landing gear is slotted in. And it just looks good. It looks like a P-51. You can see the spars for the tail and the wing all installed. And so I think it'll be a good little model. We'll install the battery and go ahead and take it for a test flight. This is the maiden flight. It was such a nice day, I just decided to take it off on the ground. There's no tail wheel steering, so you just have to add the throttle, hope it doesn't nose over, and once it's up, you're flying.
This is a no trim at all. It just flew absolutely fine. Just very comfortable flying. I was in the beginner mode. The augmentation system worked absolutely fine. One thing with these fighters, when you reduce the power, it does drop in a hurry. There is no glide function at all in this airplane. So remember, when you're flying, when you're landing, when you reduce the power, it will drop. For the second flight, I tried a hand launch. Again, that worked just fine. You can see just a gentle push, and off we go to fly. I got a very stable, comfortable feeling. Turns both left and right, and then come in for a pretty nice landing for this second flight.
Okay, the test flight went very well. It's got plenty of power. It handles well. The stabilization with the gyros works just fine as advertised. No complaints on that. I did all the flights today in the beginner mode. If it was a mid, I'd have more control. The expert, you're going to have an awful lot of control without any of the gyros. But it flies fine with the beginner, so the mid you can experiment with. It just flies nice. As with any fighter like this, when you reduce the power, it's going to drop. Okay, so for landings, you've got to keep the power on, fly it onto the ground. Remember, if you pull the power like some of your models, you just kind of glide in for landing. This will not glide in. It'll just drop like a rock. I just want to point out also the gyros here on the ailerons. As this banks, you can see the automatic correction to keep it level. That works in the background for the elevator and the ailerons, and it really makes for a smooth flying model. So, very nice model, very happy with it, and good luck with yours.